What's going on? So we're gonna do something a little bit different today. So I had a lot of DMs in terms of, when's the next ETX transformation video gonna come out. Initially looked at doing this daily, but the reality is, it's a simple program to follow. It doesn't require a great deal of common sense, and talking about a transformation every day, it's a bit boring. It doesn't really appeal to me. So that's why there hasn't been much to report. But with that being said, we'll put something out tomorrow, and we'll be about 2/3 into the program. So we're on February the 16th, and it's been a month and a half. Make some solid gains, and you guys have been sending you DMs and emails showing me transformation, which is absolutely fantastic. And obviously in the run to the last 2 weeks, this is where we can show off what we've learned and what we've achieved. But I think with that being said, I think let's have a little bit of fun today. Obviously with it being a Valentine's Day this past Wednesday, the 14th, perhaps we should talk about Valentine's Day and how the ETX training transformation program can help you have a better Valentine's Day next year. So with that being said, I'm just going to share a bit of game with you. This isn't designed for people that I would consider Valentine's Day at Nando's or something like that. If you're a uni student, this is just going to be in one ear and out the other. We're not talking to the likes of you guys. We're talking to the elite players in the game in terms of how to sort of share some game. And all jokes aside, let me share some thoughts in terms of what Valentine's Day should look like from a man's perspective, and what can be expected from a woman. So I think first things first, again, like I said to you at the start, if you're a student, if you're still a kid, you're studying, you're not really got nothing, like going for you. You're not that level yet. If you're just working sort of, like in retail or something like that. Again, this is not really the advice for you. You're not the level. And I say that to say this: when it comes to dating and things like that, you need to establish yourself first. Like, what's your value proposition? Like, as a man, what can you offer to a woman? Is it just a case of good looks, bit of a charm, bit of charisma? Because the reality is you'll hit a certain number, and there's levels to the game. So number one, it's just establish yourself first in terms of who you are. Create your own identity and make sure that identity is strong. Obviously, it's true to yourself as well. So don't copycat and imitate. Be inspired by others, of course, but remember, you don't want to not be yourself and impersonate other people. Have your own style, because at the end of the day, there's only a certain amount of time that you can play an act, and before you know it, you'll be exposed, or who you really are and what you're really about will come to light. So be yourself, be true. But again, this is what I mean by developing yourself. So for me, my advice would be build your body, right? You want to if you're gifted with a good height, which is something obviously we can't control, but like myself, sort of six foot, then obviously you've got a head start in life. However, what you can control is your physique, your shape, how you look, how you sort of carry yourself. And this is what we talk about in terms of the ETX program. It's very much a case of you need to build yourself first, like physically, look the part, and building a good solid body, it's impressive. And there's so many people out there, especially students and everyone for that matter, who just not in shape. They don't look after themselves. They don't you're not conscious of how they look. They don't really care. They're in plus sizes. There's guys I'm talking about here. And for me, I can't imagine as a woman finding that attractive. Women strong men, well built, well maintained, well groomed, well presented, And again, you can't control things like, you know, your skin color, ethnicity, things like that. But what you can do, control how you look in terms of a physical standpoint. And believe me, once you've, you know, like developed a good body, you know, that shows. So when you start to, you know, pull out shirts, blazers, polos, whatever that looks like. In fact, anything starts to look good on you once you have a good physique. And again, it's not attainable by everyone. So you're setting yourself, you know, like ahead of the crowd in terms of, you know, who you are and what you present. And also when you're like built well, there's an aura about you as well that people notice, and not just women, guys as well. And believe me, girls notice, the guys noticing. You know, so again, build your physique. Start off with that. So if you're young, and you know, I threw in a couple of digs about, you know, you start up young boys who are, you know, students and new to the game and all that sort of stuff. But this is a prime time where you should be developing your physique. You know, build a good foundation. You know, this is where, you know, most of your gains are going to carry forward. What you build in your early 20s is essentially how you look like for the rest of your life. So you've got a good opportunity to build. So yeah, start building your physique. That'll naturally help with confidence. You'll start to look good in what you wear. You'll start to get noticed, not just by women but guys as well. And like I said, women will notice that, you know, and that's obviously going to help elevate your game. So number one, build your physique. Number two, get your mindset right. So what I mean by that is, you know, again, you know, as I said at the start and through a few digs, you know, if you're at the level at the moment where you're what you'd consider a date is something where you'd go to Nando's and you should be ashamed of yourself, you know. I mean, it's cliche, but Nando's, man, just, I mean, what is it? What is it? It's trash. It's KFC in a restaurant. That's all Nando's is. And at the same time, what type of caliber of woman are you going to attract and gain respect for taking it to somewhere like that as well? It's, for me, it's just like the lowest of the low. We're way past that level as well. But that being said, you know, we're looking at sort of, you know, Michelin restaurants, 5-star. Yeah, this is what, you know, a proper date looks like. And this is how you're gonna, you know, if you manage to secure a date with a 10 or a 9, Nando's is not going to cut it. You're going to have to take them somewhere proper. And at the same time, how that's going to work is you have to, you know, be established. So this is where we move from, you know, your physical health to then the wealth standpoint. To develop yourself first. So it's a long game, isn't it? Get your business right, get your finances right, be in a position where spending $300-400, you know, pounds on, or dollars or wherever you are, you know, a few $100, few £100 and, you know, restaurant food, £100-200 on, you know, a bottle of champagne, wine, whatever. It's not a thing. That's where you want to get to, where you're not looking at the bill, you're literally whizzing through a fancy this, even if it's just to take a bite out of, you know, that's the standard that you want to get to. But you need to get there by building yourself, whether that's through business, whatever that looks like for you, grafting, you know, get yourself established and be in that position, because naturally, you know, you got to be in the environment of what you're trying to attract. And again, you know, we're past, you know, all these basic all these basic women, basic level, shall I say. And look, when you want to move into that elite caliber, you've got to have something about you. And it's not just about looks, like I said. This is where the package starts to come into play as yourself as a man, or a young man for that matter. So just to recap, get your physique built. ETX can obviously help you with that. You'll start to then, you know, I like to think, dress accordingly. You know, obviously now that you're in good shape, your physique will obviously show through. So suits, you know, just, you know the game. Don't need to spell it out for you and tell you sort of, you know, how to, you know, like plan your wardrobe and things like that. But nevertheless, you'll start to, you know, look the part, feel the part, confidence will come through, get your money right in terms of your business, your endeavors, investment, stock, shares, if you do Forex, crypto, you know, some of the stuff that I do, take a look, but get yourself set up so that when you're in that position, you can pull up in a nice motor, you know, pick up your date, take her somewhere, you know, 5-star Michelin, you know, wherever, and just set that standard high. You know, that's what it should be, right? So yeah, that's just a quick, gentle, a gentle reality check of the levels of, you know, where most people are and where they should be, and sort of what that difference in gaps looks like. Right, next. So dating. So it doesn't matter if you've met the girl once, twice, if you exchange a few texts. You never, ever, ever, never, ever split the bill. Never. That's just not how it goes. It has to be, you know, as a man. It doesn't matter if the date's a car crash. You just something you don't do. It's just something you don't do. At the same time, you know, even like people know people. So even for example, you have like a bad experience or date doesn't go your way, the personalities are not gelling. You know, how nice would it be to get feedback? You know, from you know, her friends talking, saying, you know, really nice guy, you know, took us out, it wasn't quite right, he took care of me. You know, like word of mouth is so powerful, and believe me, women do talk. So in terms of the bill, it has to be 100, you know, there's none of this 50-50 stuff. It's just silly, it's petty, it's embarrassing, getting your calculator out, you had this, you had that, you had an extra drink, it's a joke. Like, again, knock it off. It's just like, that's like an all-time low. So, and it's a complete no-go as well. So yeah, that's on to that. And then obviously when it comes to like business and stuff, depending on what you're doing, you always got to prioritize that first. So what's important is, you know, a lot of people fall into this trap. You know, they build themselves up from a health and a wealth standpoint. You know, they get themselves a 9 or a dime, and then they get caught up running around, get obsessed, chasing, and then obviously it compromises business and relationships. Remember, you've got to this position by building yourself up, and if you start deviating away from that, you know, in terms of what got you the results, then you're going to end up, you know, downhill on a downslide. So remember, like, stay true to your, you know, the process that got you to where you got to, and that's what's going to keep you, you know, elevating in that position. So maintain. I'm breaking this down in very simple terms. Build yourself up. Get your wealth right. Get your health right. Get your looks right. You know, like, have the right level of game. Dress the part. You know, nice restaurants, nice etiquette. Be professional. Be polite. You know, you don't need to, you know, like the toughest man in the room isn't the loudest man in the room. You know, simple things that, again, you know, I shouldn't really have to say, but you get the point. And again, with that being said, it's a long game strategy as well. So don't be like one of those people that are just like looking for, you know, a quick transaction, a quick exchange. Like, your best relationships, believe me, are going to be the ones that have been nurtured, the ones that have been, you know, like a sales lead that's been, you know, nurtured and developed, and essentially, you know, this is what's going to be a long-lasting encounter, as opposed to just trying to, you know, chop in and chop out. And again, think of it like when you're looking to buy like products, when you're looking to buy something expensive, I don't know, let's just say a car. You know, what's a car half decent these days? Like a Porsche, a Taycan. What I did last year, I didn't buy it straight away. I looked around, shopped around, drive this car, drive that car, speak to different dealerships, looked at packages, developed a rapport with, you know, certain sales reps, etc. And before you know it, right car, right deal, made the, you know, and then obviously, you know, made it happen. Whereas, you know, if you look at it as related to like things that you might do, where you're just making quick exchanges, you know, you go to a fast food restaurant, you're quickly picking up a quick number 2 boss with French fries and Coke, you're not really thinking about it, it's a dead end relationship. So like, same with this as well, look at the long game. The same way, like, you know, like a salesperson who's selling you a 6-figure car, he's not going to try and sell to you straight away. He's going to, you know, develop a relationship, understand your needs, and find out a little bit more about you. Create a bit of curiosity as well. You know, if you just, even from a man's perspective, if you're, you know, giving away your game from day one, there's no intrigue, there's no mystery, there's no curiosity, and, you know, that's not really appealing. Believe me, you know, like, it's not. So again, you know, it's a long game. Be cool, be polite, be professional. as well. You don't need to, you know, have like, there's one or two ways that people go about, you know, gaming with women. It's either like the bad boy approach, or it's like the gentleman approach. Both are completely fine, and obviously you got to assess the situation. But I think a lot of the time people underestimate, like when we talk about like being a gentleman, being professional, being nice and being kind, it doesn't mean we're simping. It just means we're confident in our game, and we don't have to act or behave a certain way to try and, you know, invoke a response or a reaction or emotion. So, you know, little technicalities I'm talking about here, which again, at the same time, these are traits as well. So some of these, you know, like mannerisms are just what you're born with in that regard. But nevertheless, yeah, so just a few sort of tips in terms of a bit of Valentine's Day dating advice for everyone out there that maybe they could apply next year. So takeaways are: get yourself built in terms of physique. And look, this is actually a perfect time the more I think about it. It's 16th of Feb, video will probably go out tonight. You'll check it out and think, right, where am I? What do I do for Valentine's Day? I was playing a PlayStation 5 or on my PC playing, I don't know what people play these days, some PC games and all that crap. And you say, you know what, this time next year, you know, which is completely realistic, you know, I can get on my fitness programs, I can get my Forex trading, I can start setting up business, start looking the part, start, you know, get myself together. So come next February, I'll be in a situation where, you know, picking up a nice young woman in a nice car, taking her out, having a good time, taking care of business, and obviously setting yourself up. So yeah, a bit of an easygoing video today, something a little bit different as well. Free game. The game is always to be sold, not told. So the fact that I've given you a few pointers, take this on board and appreciate it. And we'll probably do another video tomorrow in terms of, you know, like a 6-week transformation in terms of the ETS. You could probably like get an idea of how we're looking, but we'll do more of a reveal tomorrow. But yeah, like I said, stay on top of your game, and I hope everyone had a nice Valentine's Day.